my headset.
Yeah, I got you.
People are probably watching me like, is she good?
I'll let you get yourself together. Good morning, Truth Nation. As DT just said, we are broadcasting live from the 2024 Republican National Convention, the fourth and final day. Tonight will be the night where history will be made again, where former President Donald J. Trump will officially accept the Republican nomination for President of the United States for an unprecedented third time.
Unprecedented is, we're going to be using a lot of those words today. Now, here's the deal. Before we get into our show, and trust me, y'all, we've got a ton of topics to discuss, including President Biden testing positive for COVID-19. Also, we didn't get a chance to talk about this yesterday or discuss this, Telly, but also, Truth Nation, we want to touch on, as a community, why do we, as black folks, literally, cancel someone that either identifies as black or appears to be black for being a Trump supporter, i.e. speaking at the RNC? There were literally probably 2 or 3 major op-eds against Amber Rose for accepting the invitation to speak. And I just didn't understand, why it was so necessary to cancel. But we'll talk about that. Now, I've got a quick, funny story for you, Telly.
Yeah, because we got to get we got to let True Nation know we broke out of character last night.
You gonna tell Truth Nation, Telly?
And broke curfew.
You gonna tell Truth Nation?
We have to, because that's not something that happens often,
y'all.
If ever.
Telly and I were out. Can I? No, you go ahead. You tell it, because your version is gonna be way more appropriate, because you know me, man. We hit. No, okay, go ahead, Telly.
No, I like your version sometimes.
No, please trust me.
We were outside last night. We attended a what I didn't realize was a fundraiser.
It was a fundraiser?
If they charging $500 for you to go upstairs,
I didn't know
what else
that.
You think they doing with that money?
Well, they didn't get none of. Let me shut up. See, keep talking. I told you, don't let. No, I ain't saying nothing.
So it was, and we could go ahead and identify the group, because we may even have the organizer, stop by the show today. But it was the BCF, which stands for Black Conservative. Is it Federation?
Foundation.
Or Foundation, and they had a mixer. And and so
is that what we calling it?
So I had to, Denise doesn't know the pregame it took for me to even get there, because I had a problem with the hours from jump.
Y'all, Telly was like, so I was like, so Telly, I'm going to text you this invitation to a mixer. And I sent it to Telly, and he's like, 10 p.m.?
Right.
I'm like, no, Telly, 10 a.m. Yes, 10 p.m.
So that was problem number 1 for me, because I was like, ooh, that's going to be sticky. But I was very curious as to, that's my first Black Conservative Party, by the way.
Yes. Yes.
And it was.
And it wasn't conservative with the price or anything else.
It was quite interesting, but I knew my time there. I knew the shot clock started once I saw a brother walking around with them Trump shoes on.
Not that you saw him too?
Yes, I was like, hey man, this might not be my party, but I'm gonna sit back and observe. And I did, for until about, what was that, about 11 o'clock.
Okay, so y'all, Telly texted me, and he was like, so, are you here? And I'm like, okay, we're on our way. We're coming. Get there. And Telly's like, what's the male version of Cinderella? Because you were telling me you about to turn into a pumpkin. And so, wait a minute, y'all. The 2 friends that I went with, they see Telly leave, and they were like, shouldn't you be going with? Don't you have a show in the morning? I was like, Telly's older than me. They was like, shouldn't you be following him?
Well, look, your night continued. Mine, I stuck to my plan. I said I was going to be in the bed by midnight.
Oh, I wish I wouldn't even think about the bed at midnight, and now I'm paying for it. I will give this though. Milwaukee was downtown Milwaukee last night. after the the formal convention. Because here's the thing that I think people, I forgot as well. The formal part of the convention doesn't begin until 5 p.m.
Right.
And it goes until 11 p.m.
And then after that, they kicking it.
What?
Yeah, they kicking it. Don't be sleep.
Man, I went to the St. Kate Arts Hotel on Kilbourne. I walked in there. I was like, did Michael Jackson resurrect? Like, what is going on? Is Beyonce in here?
You thought it was 7 p.m. and it's 1 a.m., huh?
I am not disclosing what time. I will say this. I know God is real because I'm sitting here next to you and I'm coherent and I'm speaking English. But okay, I got to tell y'all this funny story, Truth Nation. And by the way, you definitely want to stream and watch Telly and I live as we are broadcasting from the Republican National Convention here in Milwaukee. I got to tell y'all this funny story. So, and this is like true story, y'all. So I'm walking Ernie yesterday. That's my grand dog. If y'all new to Truth Nation, everybody knows my son has an English bulldog. We adopted him. He's a rescue dog last year. So we were walking outside. Yesterday was a beautiful day, by the way. It was a beautiful day, beautiful afternoon. And this lady, she goes, "Baby dog." She goes, "Baby dog." And I was like, "No, this is Ernie. Have a great day." I thought maybe, it wasn't all up here. So I just kept on walking. So then about not even like 2 minutes later, here comes a Republican delegate. And he introduced himself to me and he goes, "Baby dog." And I was like, who is Baby dog? You're like the second person in 2 minutes. So apparently the governor of West Virginia Tuesday night spoke during the RNC and you can Google it, brought his English bulldog, whose name Baby Dog, on the stage.
Oh, wow.
Now, we keep walking, Telly, and by now, you know me, I'm commerce driven. Now I'm thinking, how can I monetize? Because
how much I'm going to charge people to take pictures with Ernie/Baby Dog?
And I did, look, and I already started at $19.99 because I was like, but then I said, wait a minute, this is a Republican National Convention. We're going to go with $49. Right? We're going to go with $49.
I mean, after all, if you can sell a T-shirt with a mugshot on it for $40.
And before I forget, that picture that we were talking about of former President Donald Trump after, the assassination attempt, he put his fist in the air and he's got blood. Why were people wearing that shirt, or excuse me, that picture on T-shirts? I knew it.
And not just that, there were people that were wearing a bandage over their ear in solidarity.
So back to Ernie. So I called Ernie's dad, my son, and I was like, I told him exactly what I told y'all. And Darren's like you. Well, y'all L7s. He's like, no, absolutely not. He was like, I'm not gonna you're not gonna objectify my dog and exploit him into the. I was like, bro, we could make these people think that he's Baby Dog.
Now we're different on that. I would have been like, look,
man,
hey, go ahead and take some pictures, because after a while, people not going to know, or once the picture is taken, they're going to look back and be like, man, that wasn't Baby Dog.
Look, dogs are like black folks. We all look alike. So I was like, look, does that look like Ernie? He resembles Ernie.
Does. I would have been like, man,
y'all gotta Google.
Pictures.
But yes, so Ernie apparently,
like, I'm his keeper.
Now, see, that was another thing I kind of found offensive. I was like, why would I be walking Governor of West Virginia's dog?
Because he hired me.
Telly, what is wrong with you? I'm trying to be,
I'd be like, who is he again? Yeah, I got his dog. Now take this picture.
Are y'all hearing this? Now, you know what? I ain't gonna lie. I would have been like, yep, this is Baby Dog. You can take a picture right now. I am walking Baby Dog.
That's no different than the person who paints his body bronze on Bourbon Street and stands there and just be still.
Like the Fonz statue?
Yeah, but have you seen? And they'll just be still, and then they'll come to life after a while, and you give them money. That's the same as exploitation, man.
Oh, but
Ernie would have been Baby Dog last night.
Okay, but here's the thing. They were asking, could they pet Ernie? And of course, I'm like, yes, because Ernie's a very friendly dog. And every pet, I was just like, $50.
Yeah.
$50. I could have had a good $1,000 yesterday off of the baby dog lookalikes. All right, y'all. When we come back, we're going to get into our top stories, the most recent updates regarding the Columbus police officers that shot and killed Samuel Sharpe Jr., a 43-year-old unhoused man. Also, again, we're going to be catching up on the latest with Pelosi and Schumer. So Chuck Schumer, who is the Senate Majority Leader, Democrat, as well as former Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, have both, based on this most recent update with President Biden, said it is time to step down. You were listening to the best morning show on planet Earth, Truth Be Told, with DT and Telly on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth.
More of Truth Be Told with DT and Telly live from the Republican National Convention returns next on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube. The Republican National Convention is here. Tune in to the award-winning 101.7 The Truth all week long, as we will have you covered with everything you need to know. Watch or listen to all of your favorite shows as we broadcast and stream live from the heart of the RNC in downtown Milwaukee from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. all this week. Don't miss a moment of any of the action, heavy-hitting interviews, and any of the breaking news by tuning into The Truth all week and streaming us live on YouTube. Milwaukee Black Talk.
This is Community Heartbeat, presented by Outreach Community Health Centers on 101.7 The Truth.
There are individuals in our community who certainly need health services, a variety of health services. What if they do not have health insurance? How can you serve that population?
Our community health center allows patients to come to our clinic regardless of their ability to pay, and that's part of our federal funding. You can come to our clinic and be seen based on what we call a poverty level. So anyone 200% or below a poverty level can be seen in our clinic for anywhere from $20 to $40 for that visit. So in other words, if your visit is a $400 visit and you fall on our sliding scale where you pay $20 for your visit, you would not be responsible for the $400. You'd only be responsible for $20 for that visit. Also, our pharmacy prescriptions are very, very affordable as well. Where you would normally pay, let's say for an inhaler, $240 a month for an inhaler, at our facility that would cost you about $4 or $5.
It's very good to know you guys have a sliding scale that makes it very, very affordable.
We Energies want you to keep this important safety message in mind. Before you start digging, planting, or landscaping on your property, call 811 to have underground utilities marked. Calling 811 at least 3 business days before you plan to dig will help you know what's below and can prevent a hazardous situation. Our representatives will mark the underground utilities on your property for free. So remember, stay safe and call before you dig.
We Energies. People you can trust. Energy you can depend on.
Associated Bank knows your small business isn't just a venture. It's your dream and a vital part of the community. And we're not just a bank. We're your neighbors. We're looking out for you. That's why Associated Bank offers quick online applications and approvals with funding in as fast as 1 business day, checking with no minimum balances or maintenance fees, and prompt customer service. Explore our products at associatedbank.com/business or visit a branch for more details. Subject to credit approval. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Wisconsin State Fair is almost here. Are you ready for it? Snag your discounted admission tickets and more by July 26th. Don't forget your fair favorites like bargain books, cream puffs, Spin City Ride and game tickets, and the Wonder Fair wheel. Time's running out faster than a racing pig, so start planning your day. Feel good at the Wisconsin State Fair, presented by U.S. Cellular, August 1st through 11th.
You are listening to Truth Be Told with DT and Telly, live from the Republican National Convention on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube.
Good morning, good morning. It is Friday Eve. Telly, we forgot to acknowledge our second favorite day of the week.
That's right.
Friday Eve. It is Thursday, July 18th. We are broadcasting to you live from the 2024 Republican National Convention. It is history in the making. Tonight will be the final formal night of the convention where former President Donald Trump will accept the nomination to represent the Republican Party during this 2024 presidential election. Now, on the other side, President Joe Biden has tested positive for COVID-19, which basically means that he has to put any type of interface campaign efforts on hold. Telly?
Yeah.
We've got Nancy Pelosi, former Speaker of the House, as well as Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, who have now publicly advised that it is the end of the road. DJ Ricky on the ones and twos, we may have to break out some Boys to Men. We belong. No, we don't. We have come to the end of the road. Telly, how are you feeling about this news?
It is bad timing. I think that when you have a president who is currently running to be reelected, and there has been so many questions about his age, his stamina, and just his cognitive skills. And so we could go back to the debate, and when they said, oh, he had a cold or something, maybe those were the first signs of COVID. But again, when you see someone who is struggling to keep it together, at least from an optic standpoint from the public, and then his running mate is shot in the ear, and he's at the RNC 2 days later, and they've just been going strong all week long. It just seems like the stars are kind of aligning. And I was saying this during the break. At this point, President Joe Biden has two options: to continue to run what people feel like is a losing race, or step aside gracefully, as opposed to having people trying to just drag and pull you from this race. Because again, we know what he has done for the people so far in his career, but it's about what's going to happen moving forward.
Exactly.
And if we're wondering about the president's health every other week, that doesn't show signs of a strong leader.
It does not. And, again, what's really, at this point, a game changer is that, again, both Pelosi and Chuck Schumer have both just looked at data, consistent polls and surveys. And at this point, they're saying the chances of the Democratic Party winning this presidential election, i.e. President Biden, is slim to none. And so the numbers, again, they've been consistent with how Americans are viewing their vote, how they're going to vote. And also, when you think about it, so you've got now former President Donald Trump recruiting Robert Kennedy Jr. to, serve on his cabinet. And he's like, look, because did you hear the, I don't know if y'all heard this or not, but there was a leaked video of former President Donald Trump having a conversation with Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who we all know is running on the independent ticket for president. And he's like, look, I'm going to win this thing. He's like, so come on to the winning side.
Yeah.
Don't even worry about that independent stuff, because I'm telling you right now, you're going to lose. Now, if you want to win, come on over here. That's how confident the Republican Party is about former President Donald Trump.
Yeah, and also you realize the power of video as opposed to audio. When you have President Biden coming out and saying, well, people are questioning my age and stamina, what about the 20-something lies that he said? Well, people aren't focused on that because they can't remember everything or every lie someone says, but they can recall you looking very weak getting on Air Force One last night and getting off in Washington, D.C., and getting in your car, putting on your mask. These are lasting images, and people don't have lasting audio images because guess what? If a lie was told today, there's going to be 10 more told tomorrow. So you're not going to retain everything that you hear, but there's a good chance you're going to remember visuals. And that's another visual, just like we remember the visual of Donald Trump holding his fist up.
Looking patriotic, like a patriotic, untouchable
with blood
warrior
on the side of his face.
So I told you, I've seen people like with T-shirts with that picture on. Yeah. And here's another game changer, Telly. In the past 2 weeks, President Biden has participated in major network interviews. You had George Stephanopoulos from ABC, who literally said afterwards, it ain't looking good. Okay, I'm paraphrasing, but George Stephanopoulos, he didn't say, you know what, he's redeemed my confidence in the American people. Then you have Jack Tapper?
Jake Tapper.
So Jake
Tapper. I'm sorry, Jake
from
Tapper.
CNN News, who actually was one of the moderators for the presidential debate between former President Donald Trump and President Biden. He came out yesterday after the interview with President Biden, said Biden appeared quite confused in latest recorded interview. Now, to add fuel to the fire, President Biden just left. He was in Las Vegas campaigning right after he was the keynote at the NAACP National Convention. And you talking about you got COVID? Come on, man.
And then you got to leave immediately.
Come on.
And so you don't know how this holds the campaign for Biden and Harris. And this is a time where we've been saying it all week. If this was a game, the Republicans are on a 20-0 run right now.
You ain't see all the Republicans skipping this morning? Y'all, Republicans are skipping down the streets.
Yes. And while we, while Democrats are trying to take the high road, and President Biden calling Trump after the assassination attempt, and Trump calling the call, a nice call. He couldn't have been nicer. Now that President Biden has COVID, have you heard Trump come out and say, well, I hope he feels better soon? Or that's unfortunate, or nothing?
And he's not.
And
now he might. You know what? Let me not be. He may acknowledge. No, I have to think about it. He's not. So tonight,
come on now.
Again, Donald Trump, former President Donald Trump, will address the Republican National Convention tonight and formally accept the GOP nomination for president. And this is again days after he survived an assassination attempt, which took place last weekend. And to your point, Telly, just based on his demeanor, his persona, who he is, I'm with you. I highly doubt that he would acknowledge President Biden testing positive. Now,
he has flipped the script, though. He has found a way to change the narrative of his campaign, which tonight he said he will highlight unity. When has Donald Trump ever given a speech about unity? So he's taking the one thing that has been the most decisive or has made it tough for you to convert to being on Trump's side, and that is he never talked about unity, and now he's going to do that to unite the country. And while the Republicans are singing Kumbaya around Milwaukee all week long, you have a Democratic Party.
No, they're singing, all I do is win, 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 no matter what. I got what?
And then they dancing on the ceiling like Lionel Richie all night long.
Man.
And you have I'm be
like, now y'all can't be singing that now. Now y'all can have Lee Greenwood and
on the flip side,
leave Lionel. Let us have him.
You got the Democratic Party that is some of their top officials, most influencers are asking the one who is on the ticket to step aside. And oh, by the way, this person just catches COVID.
So two things, Telly. Number one, former President Donald Trump and his campaign team and his communications advisors and directors, they are writing a speech, or they've written a speech, which I'm sure former President Donald Trump is reviewing now. This speech tonight that the American people are going to witness is going to sound like a victory speech. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
He is going to walk on that stage like the President of the United States. He's going to speak like the President of the United States, which goes back to your earlier point, and he's not going to, based on my experience, going to even acknowledge the Democrats or the COVID-19 positive testing from President Biden. Now, from a strategic standpoint, that's actually very smart. If you go back and you look at when President Obama was running against John Kerry, well, I should say Secretary John Kerry, because he served as Secretary of State under Obama's administration. If you notice, the reason why Obama's campaign, even though in the beginning he did not debate that well either, and his numbers in terms of the polls were low, the thing that was consistent about the Obama campaign, they never talked about Kerry. They never talked about, negative things. They didn't talk about, Bush, who was going to be stepping down as he completed his second term, they focused on the country and the hope and yes, we can and change. And that is what is going to happen tonight.
Yeah.
You are going to see Donald Trump present himself as the president of the United States as he accepts the GOP nomination for president, especially when you think about he just, and I'm doing the air quotes, survived an assassination attempt.
Yeah.
History in the making, y'all.
Only adds to the narrative. And again, he, I'm sure, is going to tout the fact that he will become a 3-time Republican nominee to become president of the United States.
And meanwhile, President Joe Biden is off the campaign trail after testing positive for COVID-19. You are listening to the best morning show on planet Earth. When we come back, we're going to get into more of our local news, and we're going to give you updates. There was another police shooting last night, as well as give you an update regarding the fatal shooting of Samuel Sharpe Jr. Again, this is the best morning show on planet Earth, reporting to you live from the 2024 Republican National Convention. Truth Be Told with DT and Telly. We'll be back.
More of Truth Be Told with DT and Telly live from the Republican National Convention returns next on the award-winning 1017 The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube.
What is at stake for African American voters in this election?
A great deal is at stake. All the progress we've made is at stake. For example, right now we've lowered health care costs. I've been able to walk in and make sure we forgive student debt for people who are struggling to get to school. We provided billions of dollars to HBCUs to give them a fighting chance. We've changed prescription drug costs by allowing Medicare to negotiate drug prices so that people on insulin are paying $35 a month instead of $400 a month. And all prescription drugs can be limited to $2,000 a year, even though cancer drugs are $10,000, $12,000, $14,000. We're strengthening Medicare. Look, we stand up for principles. Our democracy is at stake, in fact. Look what he's doing with Putin and with Kim Jong-un of North Korea. Look at him saying, we don't think a country is paying enough for their own defense, then when they get invaded by the Russians or anyone else, that's up to them. We're not going to help. He has a fundamentally different view than the vast majority of Republicans, I might add, in the past, as well as me and the Democratic Party.
To hear more of President Joe Biden's interviews with Sherwin Hughes, visit 1017thetruth.com and find it in the interview podcast tile, or download the 1017 The Truth app today. Milwaukee Black Talk.
Truth Nation! Tap into Jam with Juice. Yo, I've been jamming with Ben Jammin' for a very long time. And now here's your chance to catch Jam with Juice live on YouTube. You can also catch a drop of juice on 1017 The Truth app and 1017thetruth.com.
Attention Milwaukee County residents. Are you prepared for the unexpected? From sudden storms to unforeseen emergencies, readiness is key. Take charge of your safety with a family emergency plan and an essential emergency kit. Stay informed and connected during emergencies. For tips and resources, visit us online or contact the Milwaukee County Office of Emergency Management. Prepare now, stay safe, and build a resilient community together, because readiness starts with you.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I feel so stuck.
The Veterans Crisis Line is here for you. Dial 988, then press 1 to call.
Serious truck crash? Call Gruber Law Offices today.
Well, westbound 94 still a little bit tight as you're making your way through the stadium interchange. Not horrible, but it's there. Westbound 894 heavy from 27th Street to 68th through that construction zone. The rest of the system is holding steady. And check the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today. Sunny with a couple of afternoon clouds, a high of 76. Tonight, clear and cool, a low of 61. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 1017 The Truth.
This Associated Bank Sports Update on 1017 The Truth is powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Alex Tellez. Over in baseball, the Milwaukee Brewers have the next 2 days off as their first game post All-Star break is scheduled for Saturday in Minnesota versus the Twins. First pitch is scheduled for 6:10. The Brewers sit at first place in the NL Central with a 4.5 game lead over the St. Louis Cardinals. And finally, over in basketball, the Milwaukee Bucks Summer League team gets the day off this Thursday as they prepare for their game on Friday versus the Phoenix Suns at 3 o'clock. The Bucks Summer League team is still searching for their first win of the Summer League after losing their first 3 games. This sports update brought to you by Associated Bank, proudly supporting your hometown teams. Member FDIC.
You are listening to Truth Be Told with DT and Telly, live from the Republican National Convention on the award-winning 1017 The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube.
All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I
Truth Nation, good morning, good morning. The award-winning 1017 The Truth has had you covered with everything you need to know all week here at the 2024 Republican National Convention. Keep tuning in today as we broadcast and stream all of our shows live from the final day of the RNC in the heart of the RNC in downtown Milwaukee from 7 to 6 p.m., 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Also, we will have a special Decision Wisconsin broadcast from 6 to 9 tonight. And it'll be hosted by Dr. Ken Harris, John McCure, and our very own DT and myself will be joining. So you want to make sure you do that. Then at 9 o'clock, we will broadcast former President Donald Trump's Republican nomination acceptance speech live on The Truth.
We going to be working tonight, too?
Man.
Truth Nation, I promise y'all, if you ever call in, you bet be like DT and Telly held it down.
Like, look, they work.
We worked.
Yeah, yes.
But that's what we do here. Now, Truth Nation, in all seriousness, violence is a problem that affects us all, but together we can make a difference. The award-winning 1017 The Truth wants to ignite positive change and bring awareness to the senseless violence occurring in our community. This is why we are hosting our 2nd annual Truth Walk Against Violence, led by our very own brother, Tory Lowe, on Saturday, July 20th, from Victory Over Violence Park down MLK Drive right to our studio at the 3rd Street Market Hall. If you want to join the fight to stop violence, go to 1017thetruth.com. That's 1017thetruth.com right now to sign up for our Walk Against Violence on Saturday, July 20th. The Truth Walk Against Violence is sponsored by Cousin Subs. Now, speaking of violence, aldermen and community members are questioning why police officers from out of the state of Wisconsin, to be specific, Columbus, Ohio, that are here to protect the Republican National Convention were blocks away from the soft security zone when they shot and killed Samuel Sharpe Jr., a unhoused man near 15th and Bleed. And this occurred Tuesday. And if you have not had a chance, you can see the body camera video showing the Columbus police officer shooting and killing 43-year-old Sam Sharpe Jr. on Tuesday. Now, Alderman Scott Spiker, chair of the city's Public Safety and Health Committee, said, "I've seen no map of the indication of how far it exceeds. So it was 3/4 of a mile, I believe, from the door of Fiserv. So I don't know how the penumbra extends. We have a hard zone, we have a soft zone, and now we apparently have..." It's too early, Telly. What is this? I don't know its limits, end quote.
Have a penumbra.
Yes, the Milwaukee police are not sharing the outer security zone bicycle officers patrol. But before the RNC, the Milwaukee police and city leaders that are out-of-state police would handle the security perimeters around the RNC, and Milwaukee police would handle all the regular calls. Listen, bottom line, why were out-of-town police officers from a city and state that has had a consistent trend of racially motivated incidents in the city, blocks away from the RNC, which is where they were supposed to be protecting, during the shooting of Sam Sharpe. Why?
Yeah, that is a really good question, and if the mayor is questioning that, then that's a serious concern, or it should be a serious concern, and you got to start right there. That's the most fundamental question that you got to ask about this entire incident. Why were you even there anyway? Mm-hmm. And if we meaning the city of Milwaukee, have invited or accepted so many different police departments from across the country that wanted to come to Milwaukee to help with the RNC, then that's what you're supposed to be doing, helping with the RNC. I'm not sure if there's anything that's involving the RNC that is that far away from these soft and hard zones.
And for me, it's like, why? Why did you need to be in that area?
Yeah.
You have no affiliation. You don't know the areas. You don't know that was a predominantly unhoused area. Do you even know how? And we have our listener, I want to say, is it Jeff or John, who calls in and gives us advice in terms of, he's an expert with de-escalating situations like that. Mm-hmm. Why not have someone like him? Have some type of, training or, briefing, because these police officers that were on bikes in an area that was outside of the soft perimeters fatally shoot and kill Sam Sharpe Jr.
Yeah, and we had a caller yesterday that was saying that this doesn't fall under Jeffrey Norman and Chief Norman. This is not on him. Unfortunately, when you are in a position of leadership, anything that happens under your watch, you are responsible.
Wait a minute. What does that mean? It's not under Police Chief Norman. He's the chief of police of Milwaukee. I'm confused.
No, that's why I was confused yesterday when the caller was making that point, because it's just like how when things were going on with MPS, everything falls under Posley because he was the leader at the time. And this is a shooting that took place in your city from someone else outside of your city that has come in and killed this man. And if it's justified or not, you need to know, why were these officers even there, and how could this have been prevented?
And at the end of the day, this is the reason why this is so heartbreaking for me. He had a knife. The police officer had a gun. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, what's my brother's name from Floyd Mayweather fighting Mike Tyson. It was two different classes. You don't have a lightweight fight a heavyweight in the ring. Yeah. And people keep saying, well, what if he would have, but see, that's the thing. If we're, what we say back in the day, if we're, like, don't do that. Because at the end of the day, the police officers had a gun. This brother, 43-year-old young black man, had a knife. And I've heard some speculations in terms of the distance of the knife to the proximity of the other brother that he potentially was going to stab. If potentially 18 inches, that's a foot and a half.
Yeah. But now we're not asking what if he dies. That's been the result of it. Truth Nation, continue to hit us up on our True Talking text line, 833-212-1017. Stream and watch us live on our YouTube page. Just go to 1017 The Truth, and you can see Denise and I go live here from the 2024 final day of the RNC. And Simeon hit us up on our True Talking text line and said the why is because the white police structure still overlook the black police chief because of institutional racism.
I want to understand how you get to come to our city and kill one of our brothers. Like, how do you let that happen? Yeah. And I'm asking that question to our leaders, including Mayor Johnson as well as Police Chief Norman. How do we let police officers from a totally different state come into our city, your sole responsibility is to, and I'm doing the air quotes, protect the Republican National Convention attendees.
Yes.
We get it. We understand. I mean, it looks like vanilla sky in downtown Milwaukee.
It sure does.
But when we start to get on the outskirts of where this took place, like, can you imagine, Telly, if you were the police chief and you get a brief that a 43-year-old black man who looks like you was shot by police officers from Columbus, Ohio? Like, how would you feel? This is your city that you run, and you got people from out of town killing your people.
And I also think, too, that there was not an assignment that they would take. When they took the assignment, it was to come here and protect the Republican National Convention. I'm sure when they said, hey, we want you to go to Milwaukee, but you're not going to be downtown. You're going to be over by King Park in one of the neighborhoods. And, that's where we're going to have you.
Again, it doesn't make sense, and I don't want to hear anybody say, well, if he had a knife? Okay, he had a knife. They had a gun. And we don't know the relationship between these two men. It could have been like Tuesday. It could have been like they fight all the time. See, that's what police officers usually know that are from the city, that the incident took place. And, oh man, yeah, them two brothers, they argue all the time. We always have to de-escalate. Mm-hmm. They got out of hand, but they weren't going to do anything.
Right.
That could have been an option, and Sam Sharpe Jr. would be alive today.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Like, another 43-year-old black man in less than 2 weeks has been fatally shot based on assumptions, based on racism. And you had security officers in one situation, and now you have out-of-town police officers. As if we don't have families. As if we don't have needs for our black men.
Yeah.
We need our black men.
Yeah.
All right, we got a caller?
No, we're going to take a break real quick, and we step aside, pay a few bills. Al, Melody, we see you on the line, so make sure you stay locked right here on Truth Be Told with DT and Telly. We'll get your calls after the break. You're listening to the best morning show on planet Earth, Truth Be Told with DT and Telly.
More of Truth Be Told with DT and Telly live from the Republican National Convention returns next on the award-winning 1017 The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube. The Truth Family Fest is back. The award-winning 1017 The Truth is proud to announce our second annual Truth Family Fest on Saturday, August 17th at Riverside University High School in Milwaukee. We are bringing the community together for a family festival that will have something for everyone. There will be live music, delicious food, healthcare resources, and a backpack school supply giveaway. The Truth Family Fest is presented by Associated Bank and sponsored by Milwaukee Public Schools, Gruber Law Offices, Erie Insurance, and American Family Insurance.
What distinguishes Old National Bank from other lenders in helping people buy their first home and furthering their small businesses?
One thing that really makes us stand out is our grants. We have two really big grants right now specifically for first-time home buyers buying in Milwaukee County. The first one is for $15,000. They have to be buying within Milwaukee County and reach certain income limits. And then the second one is for $20,000, and that is through the Federal Home Loan Bank of Indiana. We're headquartered in Indiana, as you know, Denise. So that is a second grant, and that is really the highest, most robust grant program throughout the entire southeastern Wisconsin area. So it's it's up to $35,000 essentially that a person could be receiving for their first home. If you are in a position that you're looking to buy your first home throughout Milwaukee County, please give me a call. Please contact me. I'm more than happy to help everybody that I can.
And what's your number, Anna?
Sure.
How can they reach you?
414-978-0283.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that American Family Insurance agents can help build a customized renter's policy so you can protect stuff like this, or this, or even this. Well, case in point. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Come escape to Lake Lawn Resort. Enjoy stunning lakeside views, on-site golf, award-winning spa, and numerous dining options, including 1878 on the lake. Dive into the pools, explore water sports, or relax by the lakeside fire pits. Experience Lake Lawn Resort's newly renovated guest rooms, part of a multi-million-dollar upgrade for ultimate comfort and luxury. Whether it's a romantic getaway, family vacation, or corporate retreat, Lake Lawn Resort has it all. Book your stay at Lake Lawn Resort today and discover the perfect blend of adventure and relaxation.
What do you get when you combine grilled-to-order deliciousness with only the finest Wisconsin cheeses? Cousin Sub's new Wisconsin cheese steaks, featuring either steak or chicken, bacon, cheddar cheese, sautéed onions, and their new Cheddar Supreme cheese sauce. It's a match made in dairy heaven. And the decadence doesn't stop there. Pair your Wisconsin cheesesteak with their new Orange Dream Shake. All are available for a limited time only. Order in store, online, or via the mobile app. Cousin Subs. We believe in better.
You are listening to Truth Be Told with DT and Telly, live from the Republican National Convention on the award-winning 1017 The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube.
My boys in the building tonight. Hey. Oh, what a feeling I'm feeling like. Hey. You don't even gotta bring your
Truth Nation, our Beyond the Mic Happy Hour Mixer series has been a hit this summer. We want you to join our Truth team for Beyond the Mic with Sherwin Hughes Happy Hour Mixer series on Friday, July 26th from 4 to 7 p.m. at Mo Bay Cafe located 1022 South 1st Street in Milwaukee. There will be delicious cocktails, great conversations, Chula Vista Resort and Water Park giveaways, and Dr. Ken Harris will be broadcasting his show live from 4 to 6. So mark your calendars for Friday, July 26th from 4 to 7 at Mo Bay Cafe in Milwaukee.
You are listening to the best morning show on planet Earth. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are broadcasting live from the RNC here in Milwaukee. Good morning, Melody. You are live with DT and Telly. What is your question or comment?
Oh my gosh, I'm embarrassed. I thought you were going to take Al first. I'm just finishing the car wash. So, please, I'm almost done. I just want to say that there is no way that Gorman was responsible. I was a union official at a GM plant, elected predominantly for over the 20-some years, and I laid my hat on the fact of federal laws. Now, if you think the RNC or the federal government, I mean, they put a net out here. I just talked to 2 state patrols from Indiana on 60th and Layton. You people don't understand. To suggest that he decided to put bike cops, Storm and Gorman, there is no way. These things, I indicated before, MMWD, Milwaukee Metropolitan Water District, that's the water coming in. The Secret Service has been there on third shift with the employees offering overtime in the underbelly of the city. If you think the assignment of bike cops in Ohio was left up to Gorman, I respectfully disagree. My concern right now is there is a young Palestinian woman who has been charged with battery, nor by the prospective vice president for the Republican Party, Van. I'm sorry, no disrespect, I don't remember your name. She was arrested the day before yesterday. I got a call. I said, well, better get some on it because we're talking about a sitting congressman. They reviewed the video and ultimately let her out of jail the next day. She weighs 95 pounds. She was pushed into him. And now she's being charged with battery. She's a young Palestinian girl. They're making an example. Her name is Nora. It's on Facebook. So just wait till the dust settles. Wait until next week when the stories come out of how people were pulled over and what happened. The net was way past. They've been in Tulsa. They're staying. They're housing in the high schools outside of. I'm not going to give any information up. They're leaving tomorrow. I have no interest in putting any fire on anything. The law enforcement. But the fact of the matter.
Miss Melanie, thank you for calling in. We have to take another caller. We appreciate you always sharing your thoughts and perspective. Good morning, Al. Thank you for your patience. What is your question or comment? You were live with DT and Telly.
Yeah. Said everybody.
Good morning, Al.
Safe. Can you hear me? Good morning.
Yeah, could you start over? We didn't hear the first part. Good morning.
I have never not had any technical issues with Al. What's going on?
Yeah.
Al, you may want to call back because you're going in and out, and it's hard to hear you.
Yeah. Just call back, and we never have problems with Al. But we are getting some smoke on our YouTube message board. DVJ says Chevy was more upset about Herb Cole's sign being covered than one of our black residents being popped and killed. Alfonso responded and said, DVJ, Thursday bootlicking is real.
You know, Telly, I was sharing this with you and one of our producers here on site. I think, what people tend to disregard, and this is not part of the narrative, and I really hope that Mayor Johnson and his administration, as well as the police chief, Norman, as black men, remind our people, our community, as well as this state, this is traumatic for black people. We continuously, day after day, see our black men being fatally shot. And it's traumatic for us because it's another reminder that every time your father, your husband, your brother, your son, your little nephew leaves the house, there's a high probability that they may not come back the same way. And they may not come back at all just because of their race. Some people are saying this was not racially motivated. I want you to help me understand why it's not. I want you to help me understand why this does not have to do anything with race when constantly you continue to see and hear reports about black men being fatally shot, murdered, and killed by law enforcement officers. This is traumatic for black people. If you work with black people and you wonder why there's a lot of anxiety and there's a lot of nervousness, because if you constantly see people that look like you, especially those that are supposed to be the leaders of our family, there's this stereotype that black women don't need black men and, black men are absentee fathers. That is all false. That's all false. Yeah, there's exceptions, but at the end of the day, we need our black men. We need to have our families. We don't need to keep seeing every day black men getting shot. It is traumatic. I can't even imagine what the family is experiencing, knowing that Devontae Mitchell, same age, was just fatally killed, fatally, however you want to say, de-escalated situation resulted in the death of Devontae Mitchell right down the street at the Hyatt.
Yeah,
we can't keep seeing this.
Yeah, and we don't need reminders of what we feel like other people think of our lives, and we're constantly being reminded of it. We don't want to be in these situations. We don't want to even report or talk about these situations, but if they continue to happen, they continue to need to be talked about and figure out a way to have this not happen as often as it does. I mean, one is one too many, but I mean, we have had two black men, same age of 43 years old, that have been killed by the hands of someone else over the last 2.5-3 weeks here in the city of Milwaukee.
Again, I cannot. It's just so difficult because people they'll say things like, well, we don't know the full story. Oh, it's proper protocol. I get the formalities, but we're human beings. It's like black people, to some people, we're just objects. Like, we don't have families. We don't have, a heart, emotions. We are human just like everybody else. So we'll continue to provide updates on as updates develop with regards to the fatal shooting of Sam Sharpe Jr., 43-year-old unhoused black man who was shot and killed by Columbus police officers who were here as bicycle patrol officers to protect the RNC.
Don't know how the King Park got into their assignment, but that's one of the whys that hopefully not only the mayor but the police chief and others can figure out how in the world this even had an opportunity to take place.
When we come back from break at the top of the hour, we're going to continue providing you live coverage from the 2024 Republican National Convention. Today is day 4, the last day of the convention, and this will be the day that former President Donald Trump officially accepts the GOP nomination. We're also going to talk about why is it that our community, speaking of being black, why are we the only community that cancels someone who is affiliated or is vocal about supporting Trump? Just curious. Our Truth Talking text line is 833-212-1017. You are listening to the award-winning 1017 The Truth. We'll be back.
More of Truth Be Told with DT and Telly live from the Republican National Convention returns next on the award-winning 1017 The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube.
It's that time of the year, Truth Nation, for our Truth Walk Against Violence. Violence is a problem which impacts all of us, but together we can make a difference. This is why I need you to join me and the Truth team on Saturday, July 20th from 8:30 a.m. to noon for our second annual Walk Against Violence. Food will be provided by Cousin Subs. Join our Walk Against Violence Saturday, July 20th. Visit 1017thetruth.com to sign up today. Together, we can bring an end to violence. The Truth Walk Against Violence is sponsored by Cousin Subs. Better bread, better subs, Cousin Subs.
1017 The Truth and Associated Bank have teamed up for our Black-owned business give back. Each quarter, we'll be giving away $6,000 worth of free commercial advertising for 3 months to 5 Black businesses. To sign up for your business's chance to win $6,000 of commercial campaign marketing on the award-winning 1017 The Truth, visit blackbusinessgiveback.com. That's blackbusinessgiveback.com. Let's rebuild our community's backbone through exposure on the truth. For official rules, head to blackbusinessgiveback.com. Associated Bank, member FDIC.
Truth Nation, it is Denise Thomas
and Telly Hughes
from Truth Be Told with DT and Telly. And guess what?
What is that, DT?
Our Truth fans can now watch and stream us live every day, Telly.
Wait a minute, Denise. Let me make sure I got this thing right. Our amazing and incredible Truth fans can go to 1017thetruth.com, click the watch live link, and watch me and you do our thing live from YouTube and Twitter every morning?
Yes, Telly, that is exactly right. So now they can watch you almost lose your black card every Friday during our Truth Telling Hit segment.
Come on now. You know I'm never losing my black card. But Truth Nation, you gotta tune into all your favorite 1017 The Truth shows, as you can not only listen live on the app, but you can also stream us live all day, every day by going to 1017thetruth.com and clicking the watch live link.
Research shows that high-quality teachers have the greatest impact on student success during the school day. By shaping their students, they are shaping the future. Yet while actors have Oscars, musicians have Grammys, and athletes have gold medals, exemplary educators who prepare every profession are just not recognized enough. The Milken Educator Awards set out to change that by surprising outstanding educators across the nation with $25,000 prizes and providing a platform to celebrate, elevate, and activate the profession.
Erica Stevens!
The awards were created by Lowell Milken of the national nonprofit Milken Family Foundation. The journey to surprising the 3,000th Milken Educator is in full swing. Who will be next?
Honey, they chose me.
Celebrate teachers, value teachers, thank teachers.
Listen to the man who tells you exactly how he sees it. The Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris every weekday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. on 1017 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. You are listening to Truth Be Told with DT and Telly, live from the Republican National Convention on the award-winning 1017 The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube.
Listening to the best morning show on planet Earth, Truth Be Told with DT and Telly. We are broadcasting live from the 2024 Republican National Convention. Before we get into our next topic, I have to remind everyone that at Old National Bank, they know there's nothing small about keeping up a small business. That's why they've developed their empowerment loan program to help give people of color and women-owned businesses equal access to funds up to $5 million. This substantial commitment shows that Old National Bank truly believes that every small business deserves the opportunity to change their community in a big way. Learn more today by visiting oldnational.com/empowerment loan. Old National Bank, get old. All loans are subject to credit approval. Minimum loan amount, $25,000. Additional program qualifications or restrictions may apply. For full details, contact an Old National small business banker. So, Telly, you cannot make this up. We were going to talk about Amber Rose's speech during the RNC yesterday, but every day that we plan on something else, no pun intended, trumps what we were talking about. But I think it's important because, Telly, you raised a very, this is one of the best questions that I just got to share with y'all, Truth Nation. Our Truth Talk and text line is 833-212-1017. Now, Amber Rose was invited by the Republican National Convention to speak on Tuesday. Or was this Monday? No, this was Monday. She was on day one. So Amber Rose, who is a influencer, she's pretty much, she is famous. She's very well known. She dated one of the most dominant hip-hop artists of all time, Kanye West. She has a son with also another rapper, Wiz Khalifa. She's known. She's an influencer.
Yeah.
And apparently, the Republican National Convention saw her as someone who could appeal to black voters. Now, after her address during the Republican National Convention, MSNBC Joy Reid, so MSNBC's Joy Reid, who is a black woman, criticized Amber Rose for supporting former President Trump, dismissing her as racially ambiguous. Now, Amber Rose has been very public about how she identifies, Telly. She does not consider herself black. She considers herself biracial. Her father, I believe, is white, and her mother is black. So she is very, very adamant about, when you address my identity, I am a biracial woman. Now, Joy Reid on her show, which airs on MSNBC, cautioned black voters from embracing the message that Amber Rose, who again is a person of color, delivered on that stage. And we've got audio, so we're going to play this audio from Joy Reid. We want to hear your reaction. Telly, we're going to start with you. Our Truth Talk and text line is 833-212-1017. This is an excerpt from Joy Reid on her MSNBC show, criticizing Amber Rose for speaking at the 2024 Republican National Convention here at Pfizer Forum in Milwaukee on day one. Check this out.
Recruit this young woman who, and she's a racially ambiguous. I don't want to say she's black because she has said she's not, so I don't want to say this black woman, this woman who is of whatever race that she has claimed. She said she's not black, but they brought somebody whose whole career is based in black culture. She used to be on a show on BET. That's the reason most people know who she is. She dated one of the most prominent African American rappers in the business in the history of hip hop. So her whole culture came from black culture, even though she says she's not a black person herself. And the fact that she is now the person they're using. So it's
Dear Joy Reid, before I get to your reaction, Telly, you are a black woman. So first of all, if Amber Rose does not identify as a black woman, why come for her? Number two, why are we the only community that some things don't need to be public? First of all, do you really think that black Americans who support Trump needed Amber Rose's endorsement or permission? And do you really think that black people who are Biden supporters or anti-Trump needed Amber Rose to convince them that, yep, I was right, I shouldn't vote for former President Donald Trump? And you are a black woman, and this is the kind of delivery that reminds non-black people, all we got to do is sit back and watch.
Yeah.
You got a whole show on MSNBC, and you chose to use that platform to publicly criticize and shame another woman of color for something that a lot of people would do. $100,000 to speak for 5 minutes at the Republican National Convention?
Yeah, and on top of that, you can come out and explain and say whatever you want to say about her ethnicity, but when people turn on the television, what do they see?
A black woman.
Okay. And so that's number one. Number two, you don't have to try to justify why they asked her to be there. They asked her clearly for a reason. And I'm sure when they asked her, she didn't think to herself, boy, I wonder what the people out there are going to think if I do this, or I wonder if they're going to question my ethnicity. She wasn't thinking about any of that stuff. So, and you mentioned the monetary, payment or stipend that came along with this. Like, all these things you have to consider. So regardless of if you feel like she is worthy to speak at the RNC or you don't understand why, clearly the people that signed the check and wanted her to be here got her here.
And again, Telly, I don't understand why we are the only community, especially as black women, because her quote was her whole culture came from black culture, even though she said she's not a black person herself. There are a number of who we classify or who we claim. Tiger Woods, he'll tell you in a minute, I'm not black, I'm Blasian.
Yeah.
And so, but my thing is, as a black woman who has a very highly rated, viewed, major platform on MSNBC, Joy Reid, I was really disappointed because, again, you basically criticize another woman of color for doing something that wasn't against the law. She did not break any laws. Yeah. She did not say anything inappropriate. She has, as an American, she has the right, and I don't even give her that much power or merit. Okay, so she spoke. I never looked at Amber Rose as a representation of the black community, or for that matter, a politician. So I'm just trying to understand, why is it? Because we did the same thing, Telly, with Chrisette Michele. When Chrisette Michele was invited, and Chrisette Michele, for those that don't know, is a very well-known R&B singer. Very talented, has partnered with Jay-Z. She's had a number of hits. And she was invited to perform live during former President Donald Trump's inauguration back in 2016. She was, and this was public information, she was offered $300,000 to perform. And she said, look, I wanted to represent the country in terms of unity. And I'm like, you ain't got, look, girl, $300,000?
Yeah, because all the people, she clearly needed the money, and the people that wanted her to keep it real weren't offering her that type of money.
Say that again for the people in the back, Telly. Say it again. Please say that again.
So the people that are criticizing her weren't the same people that were offering her $300,000, because I'm sure she would have taken it. But the question is, why is it we cancel anyone who wants to vote or agrees with something that Trump says? Because, again, if we have the right to make that decision, why, when it's not the decision that you like, we cancel them? And you never hear other people in other communities talk about that. Like, so you have never heard Trace Atkins, who had the opening act for Red, White, and Brew, the kickoff to the RNC on Sunday. He was the featured act. You have never heard Trace Atkins and another Trump supporter get into it. Mm-hmm. Or you don't hear somebody another celebrity coming out and bashing George Clooney about saying that he's not going to support Biden anymore.
Or let's take it to the RNC. Nikki Haley, who is, she's been very public. She's a woman of Asian descent, Indian descent. Have you ever heard the Asian or Indian community come out and criticize her
or want to cancel her? Yeah.
Vivek Ramaswamy, is that the right word? Vivek
Ramaswamy.
I saw him yesterday, literally right outside of Pfizer Forum, speaking, and he said a lot of things that are contradictory. Has you ever heard anyone from his community come out?
Yeah.
It's like we are the only community that, for some reason, Amber Rose, however she identifies, again, I never gave her that much merit, but I don't understand why we want to cancel our own for accepting an invitation that has nothing to do. Do you really think, Joy Reid, that it was kind of like you were insulting our intelligence as black people?
Right.
Do you really think we gave Amber Rose that much merit?
Yeah.
Do you really think that, man, when I saw Amber Rose speak, now I know exactly how I'm going to vote on November 5th?
Or we were all sitting around our TV sets waiting for Amber Rose to speak on Monday night.
I'm not going to lie. I didn't watch it. And my thing is, again, Joy Reid, you are a black woman. You have your own show that very well may one day become syndicated, but right now you are on MSNBC, a major news media outlet, and you chose that to publicly talk and criticize about another, whether you or she identifies it or not, she looks like a black woman.
Yeah.
And so, again, I'm just very disappointed with that, and we've got a lot coming in on our YouTube message board.
Yeah, we do, and we'll get to it in just a minute. But, again, you got to look at the optics. If this is a way to gain any sort, if Amber Rose can bring in 25 more black women votes, the Trump campaign looks at it as that's 25 more votes than we had before yesterday. So regardless of what you think her impact is, again, they had a reason that they chose to have her speak right before former President Trump.
Right before. We've got some calls on the line. We're going to take a break. Or we're going to take the calls after we come back from break. Thank y'all so much for your patience. Hang on. We're going to take you right when we come back. You are listening to the best morning show on planet Earth, giving you live coverage from the 2024 RNC here in Milwaukee. Truth Be Told with DT and Telly. We'll be back.
More of Truth Be Told with DT and Telly live from the Republican National Convention returns next on the award-winning 1017 The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube. The Republican National Convention is here. Tune in to the award-winning 1017 The Truth all week long as we will have you covered with everything you need to know. Watch or listen to all of your favorite shows as we broadcast and stream live from the heart of the RNC in downtown Milwaukee from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. all this week. Don't miss a moment of any of the action, heavy-hitting interviews, and any of the breaking news by tuning into The Truth all week and streaming us live on YouTube. Milwaukee Black Talk.
This is Community Heartbeat, presented by Outreach Community Health Centers on 1017 The Truth.
So we do have a drug take-back box at Outreach Community Health Centers. So if people have medications at their home that they want to get rid of, they could bring it to our pharmacy and we'll dispose of it for them. Anything that's not being used, anything that's kind of out of date, even antibiotics, any other medications, definitely it's better to safely dispose of it, and definitely don't flush it down the toilet because that puts it back into our drinking water supply. So
why is that a bad thing, Annie? Why do we not want to flush our medication?
Yeah, so it contaminates our drinking water. It contaminates our waterways, so our rivers and lakes don't benefit from all of those medications entering into the water supply. And we don't also enter. We have great drinking water in the city of Milwaukee, but they can only filter out so many of the pharmaceuticals. So as much as we can to reduce the pharmaceutical supply in our drinking water, we'll all be better off.
Associated Bank knows your small business isn't just a venture. It's your dream and a vital part of the community. And we're not just a bank. We're your neighbors. We're looking out for you. That's why Associated Bank offers quick online applications and approvals with funding in as fast as one business day, checking with no minimum balances or maintenance fees, and prompt customer service. Explore our products at associatedbank.com/business or visit a branch for more details. Subject to credit approval. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Come escape to Lake Lawn Resort. Enjoy stunning lakeside views, on-site golf, award-winning spa, and numerous dining options, including 1878 on the lake. Dive into the pools, explore water sports, or relax by the lakeside fire pits. Experience Lake Lawn Resort's newly renovated guest rooms, part of a multi-million-dollar upgrade for ultimate comfort and luxury. Whether it's a romantic getaway, family vacation, or corporate retreat, Lake Lawn Resort has it all. Book your stay at Lake Lawn Resort today and discover the perfect blend of adventure and relaxation.
Injured? Call Gruber Law Offices today. One call, that's all.
Literally one call, that's all. I made one call and that's all, worry-free.
One call, that's all. It worked.
Just one call and that's all. They will do what they say they're going to do. One call and that's all.
One call, that's all.
means security.
It's literally one call, that's all.
It's a phrase we'll never forget. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
You are listening to Truth Be Told with DT and Telly, live from the Republican National Convention on the award-winning 1017 The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube.
Truth Nation, the Truth Family Fest is back. The award-winning 1017 The Truth is proud to announce our second annual Truth Family Fest on Saturday, August 17th at Riverside University High School in Milwaukee. We are bringing the community together for a family festival that will have something for everyone. There will be live music, delicious food, and we will be giving away backpacks, school supplies, and much more. So mark your calendars for this exciting event and come out to our second annual Truth Family Fest, which is on Saturday, August 17th at Riverside University High School. The Truth Family Fest is presented by Associated Bank, Your Money Works Here, and sponsored by Milwaukee Public Schools, Gruber Law Offices, Erie Insurance, American Family Insurance, Outreach Community Health Centers, and Greater Milwaukee Urban League.
Let's go right to our Truth Talk and Text line. Thank you so much for your patience. We've got a lot of Truth Nation on our live line. Make sure you tune in to watch us live on YouTube, but also you can join the conversation by dialing 833-212-1017. Good morning, Al from Sherman Park. You are live with DT and Telly. What is your question or comment?
Hey, good morning, DT and Telly. I don't think it's a black thing so much as I think it's a left-leaning thing. Now, I'm saying that as a person who lived on the left for about 33 years, and in the last 8 years have been on the right. It's easier to disagree on the right without getting canceled, whereas I found with left-leaning folks, they want to cancel you for any slight disagreement. I'm saying more so, not every leftist, but more so I found it on the left. And then they don't want your friends talking to you, and then they go as far as trying to ruin your life. I remember when I came out as more right-leaning, I had people calling my job trying to get me fired. I was like, really? Is it that serious?
But let me ask you this, Al from Sherman Park. It definitely was racially driven because she used the word black and she said, hey, you know, Amber Rose benefited from the black culture and now she's supporting Trump. And again, there are a number of black American tax-paying, law-abiding citizens who support voting and actually will vote for former President Donald Trump. So it was racial. She said it, and she's a black woman.
Again, I see it as pettiness on the left because she's a left-leaning black woman and she thinks black people should only vote a certain way. And maybe it's a more female trait I see, that women tend to be pettier. You can't really... I worked in an office with a lot of women. Women just really are petty and nasty about it.
You know I'm a woman, right? You know that, right, Al from Sherman Park? You really want to go there? I'm right here.
You're not one of those girly. You're not one of those girly girls in the clique. I don't see you as a cliquish girly girl.
I am not, but I appreciate that compliment. Thank you so much, Al from Sherman Park. Right. We got to take our next caller. Have a great day, Al. Good morning. We have our beloved Al. Al, you are live with DT and Telly. What is your question or comment? Man, what's going on with Al today?
Bam.
Al, you there? Okay, we're going to come back to you, Al. Good morning, Joe. You are live with DT and Telly. What is your question or comment? Okay, we'll come back. You guys, if you want to call back, again, ladies and gentlemen, our Truth Talk and Text line is 833-212-1017. We are broadcasting live from the 2024 Republican National Convention here in Milwaukee. I keep looking up, y'all. I know some of y'all that are watching us on YouTube, like, why is every time she say that she looks up? Because there's a big old red sign right above Telly and our head that says RNC 2024 Milwaukee. Inside the logo logo or the shape of the state of Wisconsin with a big old elephant on top.
Yeah. No, we definitely don't need any reminders of where we are or what we're doing. And you started the show by saying that we didn't acknowledge this being our second favorite day of the week, but I can honestly say every day this week has felt like Thursday.
It has.
Yes,
it's been very exciting.
Yes, every day you come in here, you never know what's going to happen. And speaking of that, somebody said on the YouTube message board, the RNC is blocking Al's call.
We would not let. Our director of content is like, well, hey.
We have never had any issues with Al before.
Now, look, I'll tell y'all a true story. I don't know if you experienced this, Kyle or Telly, but yesterday when I was walking through our checkpoint, our security checkpoint, and let me tell y'all, the truth, we love y'all so much because if you knew what we had to go through and experience every morning just to be in the room to broadcast live, that's how much we love y'all. But yesterday, I was on the phone, Telly, and I was like, and I said, and I was like, wait a minute. The phone just zapped. It zapped. And then I remembered where I was. I look up, and, the Secret Service officer was like, yes, we own you and your phone for the next 3 days.
They look at you. Yeah, we were done talking.
I was like, all I said was Biden. And the phone was like, I was like, oh, okay, that's what we doing. So, Gerardo, you probably are right. They probably did block Al's call.
Yeah. Hopefully not. Al, keep trying, man. We on your side, but we ain't got no control on that.
We ain't got no control whatsoever. And I will say this too. Yesterday I was outside, just observing, because this is a history-making Republican National Convention. There will never be another Republican National Convention like the one that's taking place in 2024 here in Milwaukee, because you have, again, a former president who survived an assassination attempt that said, I'm still showing up at the RNC and will accept the nomination. And every day this week, we've had breaking news. All right, Al, you are back live with DT and Telly. What is your question or comment?
Third time, gotta be a charm,
man.
Al.
Okay, well, first thing I wanted to say, don't counsel the person, counsel their ignorance. Next, it's not probably because she's black, it's probably because she loves riding black men. And furthermore, the whites were never married to Amber Rose. Now, they'll pay her $100K for a piece of ass, but they will never bring her to the dinner table. Have a great morning.
Thank you, Al.
Thank you, Al.
All right. Good morning, Joe. You were live with DT and Telly. What is your question or comment?
Good morning. I think DT and Telly, y'all looking at it from a standpoint of your age and demographic group. Not saying that anybody's old or anything, but when you think about millennials and how easily influenced and how dumbed down society is nowadays, we gotta hold these people accountable for the words that they speak. Now, Amber Rose has made a career with appropriating black culture. And this is the same woman a few years ago that was convincing all of our young girls to become sluts. She started a slut walk, and women, you should be free with your body, and can't no man tell you this, and that. So at every turn, when the money's there, she's influencing and shifting the culture. So you might look at it as like you ain't pay her no attention, but it's 50,000 20-year-old girls or girls under 25 that live by what these women do and say. And they feel liberated and free by these obnoxious, just moralless things that people can get on social media and they can push, and the agendas that they can do. So when we sit and we look at people and we talk about these things, we have to look at the bigger picture. And she may not have influenced people with a strong mind or independent thinking to look at things in a different light, but she does have a chokehold and an influence on a certain demographic, and a lot of that are young black women in a day and age where where it's just society is getting more and more moralist, and nobody's standing up for anything, and nobody is sticking to the right side. Everybody is unrighteous out here trying to judge righteous.
You know what, Joe? I got to give it to you, brother.
Need to get it together.
I got to give it to you, brother. You make a valid point. You do make a valid point. I am speaking from a lens of a Gen Xer. And you're right. I did not grow up socializing primarily through social media. Right. And so that's valid. That's fair, because we have to look at also from the lens of the Republican Party knows that Amber Rose is famous and is a strong influencer. And yes, she does have a for-profit organization known as Slut Walk.
Yeah, and on top of that, you got to remember, even when Donald Trump was campaigning before, he'd take pictures with Lil Wayne. Kanye West went to the Oval Office to meet with him.
Steve Harvey went
there. So regardless of why they were there, the optics were in Donald Trump's favor, because these are people that he knows that black people identify with and respect what they say. And why wouldn't you go after people that you know are influencers that could help you gain more votes?
I think Joe makes a valid point again, because I don't see it that way. I'm not easily influenced by those individuals, but to Joe's point, this generation does. So we've got David. Good morning. You are live with DT and Telly. What is your question or comment?
Good morning, DT and Telly. Thanks for taking my call. I'll make it real quick, too. So for me, just personally, it's about the racism, right? Just for me personally, it's about the racism. I'm real big on that. And I just feel like for some people, a small portion of our black and brown community, I feel like racism may not be like a deal breaker. But racism is a deal breaker for me. The second he came down there, because I'm black and Mexican, so the first time, dude, when I heard that he wouldn't rent to black people and all that stuff back in the day, and then I heard when he came down that elevator in 016, talking about putting the wall up, that was it for me. That was a wrap for me, you know what I'm saying? And I just think some people are willing to overlook that for some reason. I ask myself that question all the time, like, why are some people willing to do that? Because maybe racism isn't a deal breaker or way up there. You know what I'm saying? Because my thing is so people that are voting for Trump, black people and brown people that are willing to vote for Trump, you know what I'm saying? You're saying if you don't vote for Biden that you're going to lose everything you have? That don't make no sense. That can't make sense. So I think because I think for most black and brown people, we feel like if we have nothing else in common, because we all live different lives and stuff like that, but I think most in black and brown people, we feel like we should all be on the same page when it comes to race, when it comes to racism. We don't even have to know each other, literally or personally. I think that's just an unsaid thing, like that the majority of us feel that we should all have in common. So when we see someone going outside of that, we're like, hold up, what are you doing? Why? David. I'm telling you, I ask myself that all the time. It's like a mystery to me.
David, thank you so much for sharing your perspective and being as transparent as you were. I mean, these are all valid points that are coming in on our Truth Talking text line, which is 833-212-1017. Jay, good morning. You are live with DT and Telly. What is your question or comment?
Hey, my comment is those last three people, they knew exactly what they was talking about. But as far as Amber Rose, you just have to just look over her because she's going to do what she want to do. But I think one thing that I kind of didn't like, she said, her being an atheist, she said that Christ was a cult leader. So that kind of hit me in a way, and I said to myself, well, you know what? One thing about Jesus Christ, he gave his life. And I would say like this, the portion you support, he ain't going to give his life for you, just like Jesus gave his life for us, And that's how I look at that with her now. She's going to do what she want to do, but we got to understand people with platforms, they're going to say what they got to say and say the way they want to say it. So, I mean, there ain't too much we can do about it. But like you said before, we shouldn't kick them to the curb because their political views are different from ours. But we should just say, hey, you know what? You do what you do, I do what I do. And you know what? Y'all take care of it. That's the butt naked truth right there. Have a good one.
Thank you, Jay. I want to piggyback off of something Jay had said, because when I was walking yesterday, I was thinking about how did Amber Rose get to this position? And I'm just going to be straight up, Telly. If we're going to go there about the black community, a lot of us was really mean to Amber Rose. We was very critical and judgmental of her lifestyle choices, and she may have internalized that and said, you know what, bump y'all, I'm going to go to the other side. You always got to remember, how did people get to where they are in terms of how they operate, how they communicate, the relationships that they enter. So it's, again, whether Amber Rose speaks or not, or whatever her views are, I am Denise Thomas. I don't need Amber Rose nor even put that much merit.
To each his own.
To each his own. All right, y'all, stay tuned. And I'm going to just say this. Stay tuned. Telly's giving me the look like, don't just stay.
You can if you want.
No. Just stay tuned. There may or may not be a very notable Republican joining us when we come back in about 15 minutes. We're going to come back, but in about 15 minutes, we may or may not have a very prominent, notable Republican speak to us in terms of potential existing black voters for former President Donald Trump. You are listening to the best morning show on planet Earth, or as Steve Gaddafi just said, it should be the best morning show on the universe. Shout out to my brother Steve from WTMJ. We are the truth, the award-winning truth. Stay locked in. We'll be back.
More of Truth Be Told with DT and Telly live from the Republican National Convention returns next on the award-winning 1017 The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube.
Eagle Sports Range has an unbeatable offer on concealed carry license classes. For just $49, enroll in their 3-hour class led by expert instructors prioritizing safety. Learn laws, techniques, and mindset for responsible carrying. Stick around for an optional hour of range time with instructors included in the package. Practice under professional guidance and gain confidence. Open 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day at 2525 East Layton Avenue in Cudahy. Secure your spot at eaglesportsrange.com. Eagle Sports Range, where safety meets skill.
The biggest names in the basketball world.
Dame, Dollar, Lillard.
Having fun and honest conversations.
He puts it in his shoe, right? And sets the tone for brothers and sisters and family.
Every week, Thanasis Adetokounmpo sits down with special guests on Thanalysis Show. Presented by Carbless Ready-to-Drink Cocktails.
Fantastic.
Find Thanalysis Show on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. And on YouTube by searching Thanalysis Show.
Over the past 20 years, Wisconsin has seen a huge increase in reported elder abuse cases. Elder abuse is the verbal, physical, emotional, sexual, or financial abuse of a senior citizen. It can also be the intentional or unintentional neglect of an older person. Wisconsin's population of seniors 65 and older is projected to grow significantly in the coming decades. That's why we all share the responsibility to help protect our seniors by recognizing and reporting any signs of elder abuse. If you believe that elder abuse has been inflicted upon yourself or someone you know, please report it. Call the Wisconsin Elder Abuse Hotline toll-free at 1-833-586-0107 or visit reportelderabusewI.org. Respect our elders. Report abuse. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Justice.
This project is supported by the Administration for Community Living, ACL, U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, as part of a financial assistance award totaling $120,000 with 100% funding by ACL HHS. The contents are those of the authors and do not necessarily represent the official views of nor an endorsement by ACL HHS or the U.S. government.
Attention, Milwaukee County. When it comes to stroke, every second counts. Remember to be fast. B-E-F-A-S-T.
B, balance. Are you having trouble with coordination or balance? E, eyes. Sudden blurred or double vision. Have you lost sight in one eye or both? F, face drooping. Is your smile lopsided or your face numb or drooping? A, arm weakness. Are you having difficulty reaching for things? Does your arm drift downward when placed in front of you? S, speech difficulty. Is it difficult to speak? Try saying, the sky is blue. Does that come out correctly? T, terrible headache. Are you having pain in your head? Experiencing more than one of these symptoms? Time to call 911.
Remember, recognizing these signs and acting fast can save a life. If you or someone you know experiences these symptoms, don't wait. Call 911 immediately. This message is brought to you by the Milwaukee County Office of Emergency Management. Stay informed, stay safe.
Westbound 94 is going to be a bit backed up from 27th Street to Mitchell Boulevard, and then again from Highway 100 into Waukesha County. Northbound 43 is backed up out of the Marquette all the way up to Keefe, though the southbound side's been pretty quiet all morning. Westbound 894 still seeing delays out of the Mitchell interchange pretty much all the way to 68th. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today, sunny, couple of afternoon clouds with a high of 76. Tonight, clear and cool, a low of 61. For the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 101.7 The Truth.
This Associated Bank Sports Update on 101.7 The Truth is powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Alex Tellez. Over in baseball, the Milwaukee Brewers have the next 2 days off as their first game post-All-Star break is scheduled for Saturday in Minnesota versus the Twins. First pitch is scheduled for 6:10. The Brewers sit at first place in the NL Central with a 4.5 game lead over the St. Louis Cardinals. And finally, over in basketball, the Milwaukee Bucks Summer League team gets the day off this Thursday as they prepare for their game on Friday versus the Phoenix Suns at 3 o'clock. The Bucks Summer League team is still searching for their first win of the Summer League after losing their first 3 games. This sports update brought to you by Associated Bank, proudly supporting your hometown teams. Member FDIC.
You are listening to Truth Be Told with DT and Telly, live from the Republican National Convention on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube.
Truth Nation, the 101.7 The Truth Street Team, sponsored by UW Credit Union, is coming to an event near you. Saturday is a full day of fun with The Truth. We kick the day off with our Walk Against Violence starting at 10 a.m. at Victory Over Violence Park. Then we want you to join us from noon until 8 as we will be at the annual Garfield Days Festival celebration at 502 West Garfield Avenue. This family-friendly festival will have exceptional music from local artists, food, and great activities for the entire family. The 101.7 The Truth Street Team is sponsored by UW Credit Union. They are here for every you.
All right, y'all, it's official. We can go ahead. I've received the go-ahead from our director of content, as well as Cal Wallace, as well as Benjamin. We can officially announce this. Former President Donald Trump's third oldest child, who has been heavy on the campaign front for his father. Eric Trump will be joining Truth Be Told with DT and Telly at exactly 8:45. So stay tuned in. We've got about 8 minutes. But yes, text everybody, call everybody. Eric Trump will be joining us live here at the Truth Station, giving you live coverage from the RNC Milwaukee. Eric Trump, son of former President Donald Trump. And remember, former President Donald Trump will be giving his closing speech tonight, along with accepting the GOP nomination for the presidential election. History in the making, Telly. Eric Trump is about to join us live. Our Truth Talk and text line is 833-212-1017.
Yeah. Speaking of it now, are you joining us now?
We are here.
All right. Good morning.
Let's do it.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Sorry, guys. My rehearsal got all screwed up yesterday.
It's okay.
Sorry for having to do a little bit of bait and switch on you guys.
No worries. You can sit right here in the middle.
I love it. I like to be in the middle.
See, this is what we like. Live radio.
You know,
you can't script this.
Exactly. I want to stand for some reason, but Eric, if you want to sit, whatever's most comfortable for you.
What's better for you guys?
I'm sorry?
Come on.
We're going to sit?
Yeah.
Okay, let's sit. All right. So again, we are joined by Eric Trump, son of former President Donald Trump. So Eric, let's just get right into it because I know you're very busy. So what is the synergy right now within the Trump campaign? It's been a very exciting week, I'm sure, for the Republican Party as well as the Trump campaign. What's the synergy? How are y'all feeling?
Listen, we feel great. Obviously, there's been a lot of highs and lows this week. You know exactly what happened, and that was scary as hell for everyone. Right? I mean, I'm sitting there with my 2 children on my lap, almost seeing my father get executed, and then 48 hours later, I'm in a beautiful arena, and I'm the delegate that makes him the Republican nominee for president president of the United States. And so listen, you have a lot of highs and lows and emotions this week, but there's tremendous love in this room, right? I mean, just tremendous love in the room. And my father walked out, people were crying, and they're waving the American flag, and they're patriotic. They love this nation. They love our country. You know, our country has a big hole in the roof right now, right? Nothing's working. Immigration is a disaster. Fentanyl is destroying this country. I mean, 300,000 kids this year. Think about that. 300,000 children this year have effectively been poisoned by China, right? Fentanyl is killing our youth in this country, and no one's doing a damn thing about it. You know, you can't live. Everything's too expensive. You can't buy groceries anymore. Everything. Fuel is too expensive. Utilities is too expensive. Taxes are too expensive. You know, look at mortgage rates. How do you buy a house when you have, 7-8% interest rates, right? It's crushing people. So you have kids that are coming out of school, high schools, colleges, they get their first job. They want to be a first-time homeowner. They can't do it. Right? I mean, not only are the houses more expensive because you've had massive inflation over the last 4 years, but you also have 7-8% interest rates, which just compound that problem. And, we've got real holes in this country, and you have an administration right now that's focused on just all the wrong things. And, my father wants to go fix that hole. Forget about the other thing. Let's fix the fundamental problems of this country. Let's make this country safe. Let's clean up the cities. Let's stop the crime. Let's stop the nonsense. Let's stop the shooting. Let's stop having our kids poisoned in this nation. Let's make things affordable again. Let's stop the wars. I mean, we've spent $200 billion in Ukraine. You know what that kind of money could have done in Milwaukee?
A lot.
A lot. You know what that could have done to public schools? You know what that could have done to infrastructure? You know what that could have done to, extra policing and crime fighting? And I mean, it's maddening. We're sending all our money. By the way, this is your money. Just understand that you're paying for it. Every one of you has written thousands and thousands of dollars to fight wars where it's just, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people have been killed, people that look identical to one another, people that that share a common language, and it's insane. And then look at the Middle East. I mean, my father got out of all the wars. My father's the first president in the history of the nation that never started a war. And yet, look at the Middle East right now. It's an absolute hornet's nest. And despite that, they've gone after him, and they've ruthlessly attacked him, and they've prosecuted him, and it's just felony after felony, and weaponized district attorney and AG. As a son, I've been watching it and saying, for a guy that's done what he's done for this country, it really is just a crazy system that wants to fight back. Believe me, in this country, they want wars.
And Eric, I want to piggyback off of that. Sorry to interrupt you, but just saying this as a son. Not only this is your dad that 5 days ago there was an assassination attempt, but there's been a complete shift in the campaign. How has your dad been different since what happened 5 days ago in Pennsylvania?
Listen, I think it puts it all in perspective, right? I mean, I've dealt with the political games for the last 8 years. And I'm not an overly political guy. I'm a guy who loves my father, and I would stand on that stage with him until the end of time. But, I could do away with politics if you told me right now, right? It's just, but I think when you see a bullet whiz by somebody's ear and take off, a portion of their ear and realize that,
not just somebody, but your father.
No, of course. And you're watching this online. Guys, we almost had a former president and very likely future president assassinated on live TV. Do you know what that would have done for this country? You know what that would have made our country look like? We would look like a banana republic. This can't happen in the United States of America. It's not just it can't happen to a former commander-in-chief. It can't happen in our cities either. We need to stop the nonsense, and we need to stop it, right this second. But does that form some level of humility, humbleness, perspective on life, perspective on what's important or not? I damn sure think it does, right? I mean, we all know people who have gotten in near-death accidents, whether it's a car accident or whatever it may be, fire in a house where they barely escaped, and those things change people. And I think having part of your ear blown off, I mean, had my father not turned his head at that exact moment, it would have been game over. And, I'm not an overly mushy person, but, there was a hand on his shoulder. Believe me, there was a hand on his shoulder because, the odds of him being here. And remember, the shot was taken 130 yards. This is not a far shot.
Right.
This is not a far shot. Like, that's a shot. That's like a, 4-inch putt, and, he shouldn't be here right now. And, there's no question that somebody was watching down over him and, protecting him.
Well, we are glad that you're here. We don't, as Americans, we don't want any government official, former president, potential future president assassinated. So again, we want to thank you, Eric, for being here. We are joined live by Eric Trump, son of former President Donald Trump. Now, Eric, I have to ask you this, because the reality is that a number of American black voters have been very public about supporting your father during this presidential election. A number of black voters are converting to black conservatism. And so why do you think that is? Why do you think former President Donald Trump is appealing to black voters more than any other Republican presidential candidate in the history of our country?
Yeah, I could go on for about an hour and a half. But, let me start with this.
We got 9 hours, Eric, so
I'll take all 9 hours if you allow me to, guys. First of all, I think they see my father as a fighter, and I think the community, generally speaking, I think a lot of communities, want the person who will actually fight for this nation. They love America. They love red, white, and blue, and they saw a fighter 4 years ago. They might not have known exactly who he was, but they saw somebody who was out there cheerleading for the United States of America every single day. And right now, guys, we don't have a fighter, and we certainly don't have a cheerleader for this nation. We are cheerleading on nothing. We are winning on no fronts. We don't have a fighter in the Oval Office. The exact opposite. You have a guy who can barely get up a flight of stairs. He can't get through a sentence. And God bless. I'll probably be there at one point. We'll all be there at one point, right? But this guy's not doing the job for America, and we are slipping. Then you look at the crimes in the inner cities, and it is horrible. I mean, I built an unbelievable building in Chicago, and you watch the degradation of that city, one of the greatest cities anywhere on earth, and a city I absolutely adore. And you see the degradation where every single week a mom is watching that same thing that I watched with my 2 kids on TV the other day. The only difference is their son or daughter or father did not make it because that bullet struck home and they died. Right? There is too much of that. Our cities have turned to hell. Bail reform has been a disaster. There's not a single person in this country that believes that bail reform actually worked at this point, because you have bad guys who are being let out and they go commit new crimes, and cities have just become, and also you have so many people who want greater policing, right? I mean, just to keep the toughest neighborhoods safe. And then, you've had the war on police and the war on defund, and it's tough, guys, and there's a whole host of magnitudes, but our cities have just become dangerous. And I think those communities want those streets cleaned up, and they want those streets cleaned up now. And those communities deserve those streets to be cleaned up. But, let me be very clear on that. And then you look at these false indictments, right? And my father's mugshot, and clearly, there's not a person in this country that doesn't think that he's been targeted in some way, shape, or form. Most people think he's been targeted in a real way. And I've been there. I've been in that courthouse. And I think so many people in these communities have also said, hey, listen, I've seen these games. I've seen prosecutors do this to me. I've seen prosecutors do this to my friends. I've seen friends thrown in jail for nothing for long periods of time. The keys were thrown away. They were thrown in jail, and they didn't have a chance in the world of beating that system. They had no chance. Their youth was taken from them. Their lives were taken from them. Yeah, maybe they screwed up. Maybe they made a little mistake. But they were effectively thrown in the garbage. And you know what? I've seen this game before. I've seen it in our communities, and they're doing it to this guy right now. And when I saw that mugshot on the T-shirt, and I can't tell you how many guys have said this to me, when I saw that mugshot on the T-shirt, I was all in, because he became one of us. And listen, guys, I think of magnitude. And then let's just look at jobs. Let's look at illegal immigration. I mean, how many illegal immigrants have come into this country who have taken jobs that other people wanted? How many immigrants have come into this country that are now getting public housing, when you have lists in some communities that are miles long of people who have waited years to get public housing? Isn't it amazing that illegal immigrants are coming across the southern border and they're being put in the best hotels in New York City on taxpayer dollars, right? I mean, we're paying for it, but yet they haven't spent a dime. They haven't spent a dime on public housing in this country in years and years and years, yet they'll spend billions of dollars, effectively housing people in the finest hotels who just broke the law by coming across the border legally, and we don't know who those people are. And people are getting infuriated. And then last but not least, you're seeing the drug epidemic, right? I mean, this is single-handedly the most important thing to me. I literally said to my wife, Laura, the other day, should we keep Narcan in our cars? Because kids are picking up dollar bills in a playground. Kids are touching a water fountain, and they are literally ODing on a poison being sent over from China. And that is disproportionately affecting the cities. And no one's doing a damn thing about it. And it's tragic. And my father wants to stop the madness.
We're being joined live here on Truth Be Told with DT and Telly with Eric Trump, the son of former President Donald Trump. And tonight, another history-making moment. Your father will accept the nomination for an unprecedented third time. And when you look at the momentum, it seems like the Republicans have been able to garner this week. I've been joking all week long. I said if this is a game, the Republicans are on a 20-0 run right now. And how do you all attribute this momentum? How did this momentum come, and how do you sustain this momentum to November?
Yeah, listen, the pendulum has shifted in a big way, and I think people are getting it. The debate was a big part of it, right? I think people realized that a lot of the media was very, very Biden-focused. He could do no wrong. And everybody suspected what we all know. And then obviously he came out that night, and it was probably the worst debate performance in the history of this country. And, I think that propelled a lot of the momentum, which is we've been lied to. We've been spoon-fed a message. You don't have independent, you guys are, right? But you don't have, among the mainstream media, you don't have independent journalism anymore. People aren't calling balls and shots. The same message you hear in L.A. is the one that you're hearing in Mississippi, which is the same as you're hearing in Atlanta. It's the same scripts, it's the same this, right? There's no independent thought. And people were being spoon-fed, and I think people got fed up, and I think the media lost a lot of credibility after that debate, right? They could no longer kind of carry this guy's water for him, and so you had that. You clearly had this assassination attempt. People are pissed off. They see how my father's been attacked, but again, you see the hole in the roof of this country. We're focused on whether or not a 6'5" man my size should swim in women's sports. All right, that might be a political issue, all right? But if there's 1,000 political issues, that's 999 in terms of importance. Stop the fentanyl, stop the illegal immigration, take care of our cities, make our cities safe, make our country strong, get out of war, stop spending billions of dollars overseas, right? Let's start with the important issues, and let's stop screwing around with the issues that don't matter, that not a single person listening to us right now cares about, as they can't afford groceries, as they can't afford their rent, as they're about to get evicted from their apartments, as they can't take that trip to Disney World that they've always dreamed about with their children. Stop screwing around with the stuff that doesn't matter. And I think people are really at a point in their lives where they're fed up, and I think that's why, to your point, I think that's why the pendulum has shifted to the extent that it has.
Yeah.
So, Eric, speaking of which, tonight, big night, day 4 of the Republican National Convention. Former President Donald Trump, your father, is going to speak to this country as he accepts the nomination as the GOP presidential candidate. Now, this is the truth, Eric. So I got to ask you this question.
Tell me. I want this.
Can you give us a preview of what former President Donald Trump is going to say to the American viewers, the voters that are going to be tuned in all over the world, by the way, but also in particular the American voters that are going to look at this as maybe I'm here and I need to hear from former President Donald Trump to get here. What is going to be the message tonight?
Well, it's going to be inspirational. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be America first. And I think that's a message that you're going to clearly take out of the speech, right? For some reason, this globalist agenda has kind of infiltrated America. My father wants to be the quarterback. He wants to be the coach that has a winning quarterback, that has a winning team, that wins on every single issue for this country. And for some reason, I'm not sure why in modern day America that offends certain people. He wants to have the best education. He wants to have the best economy. He wants to have the best military. He wants to have the safest streets. He wants to have, the lowest inflation, the lowest gas prices. Go down the litany. He wants America to be number one at everything we do, and he wants to go broadcast that to the world. He wants to broadcast the strength of America to be the world. So, you're going to hear a very, America first policy. You're going to hear a very America first speech. We can be the best. We've always been the best. We put that man on the moon. We've done things. We've conquered problems that no other society in the world could even dream of. Societies that 99% of the countries around the world still couldn't, and we might have done these 50, 60, 70 years ago. We're so far ahead, and we have to stay far ahead because China's coming after us. So many countries are coming after them. The Middle East is certainly coming after us in terms of, they all want that number one spot, and we better stay in the lead. And I have the honor of speaking right before him, and I'm a proud son. I'm telling you guys, I'm not one of these politicos. You can probably see that in my eyes. The man is incredible. He's been the greatest father in the world to me. I could not have imagined having a better father. He's a wonderful person. He's the one guy that does not need to do this. He could sit his ass at Mar-a-Lago and have the greatest life, eat cheeseburgers, go play golf, screw off all day. And you know what he does? He goes out there and he gets indicted and he gets prosecuted, and they try and take down his company and they try and bankrupt him, and they put his mugshot on every billboard and they try and kill him last week, and he keeps on going. And what does he do? He stands up. He has blood running down the side of his face. He puts his fist in the air and he says, "Fight, fight, fight." And we better get a guy like that. We better get a person like that back in the White House. Otherwise, we're not going to have a country left, because the current incompetence and just the policies are destroying our nation. They're destroying this country.
Eric, you said that, again, you're going to speak tonight. Your brother last night, how did you think your brother did?
He did great, but I'll be better.
Okay. See, that's coming from a person that has siblings, so there's always a competition. And you talked about not being a politician, but being on this stage tonight. Are there still nerves? Are there still things that it takes getting used to? Because you're only going to have everybody in the world watching tonight, by the way.
Great motivational speech, Telly. That's the way to get you pumped up.
It's only like 50 or 60 million people. Don't worry about it.
No worries.
In the world, 8 billion.
Yeah. Guys, it's a true honor, right? I mean, you're speaking to everybody in the world, but I don't care. Honestly, I don't care about them. I care about the people in this country. I do. I'm going to speak to pretty much every citizen in this nation tonight, and I'm going to talk about a man that I freaking adore, a man that I love. Yeah, does he come across as tough and brash? 100%, right? But the guy's got a heart of gold. My two kids run up to him. My little daughter Carolina runs up to him, jumps in his lap, and he's just ear to ear beaming, right? And it might not even be the image that he wants people to see, right? I mean, he's a fighter, and look at Tyson, right? Tyson was the best of all time. You just you couldn't take the fighter out of but honestly, maybe having a big bullet graze your ear, maybe again the humbleness that comes with that, maybe that does soften somebody up a little bit. But I'm not even sure if I want that. This country, I have a grandmother who's the most incredible person, nicest person you've ever met in your entire life, but she'd be the worst president in the entire world. You don't necessarily want that for president. You need somebody that's going to fight.
Absolutely.
President Xi over in China, believe me, he's a fighter. He's an animal. He has one goal, and that's world domination, and that's what we're up against. We need a fighter in 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, and that's exactly who Donald Trump is, and he loves this nation. He doesn't need to be doing this, and as a son, I'm incredibly proud of him.
Well, I've got to ask you just one more question. Now, this is about you, Eric.
Please.
You've been in Milwaukee for about 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Wisconsin or Milwaukee dish that you've consumed since you've been here?
Guys, I've been consuming literally Celsius and Celsius and more Celsius. I've been running through these stadiums.
Are you a Celsius drinker?
No, honestly, not before this week. Not really, but I haven't had a decent freaking meal in 5 days.
Oh, we got to work on that.
I just want to sit down with a burger and a huge thing of fries and what other fattening things I can stuff in my face.
I'm going to tell you, replace the fries with Wisconsin cheese curds.
There you go.
You got to have some cheese curds while you are in the state of Wisconsin.
Hey guys, I've spent a lot of time here. I spent a lot of time in this state, and I mean, first of all, I love them. The food here is awesome.
We're gonna get you some soul food, Eric. We're gonna find a good soul food vendor.
I'm in.
Are you we're gonna get you some yams, all that good stuff. We're gonna get some soul food for you.
Yams.
We got plenty of great black-owned restaurants here. This is Eric Trump joining Truth Be Told Live. Eric, we thank you so much for making time out of your busy schedule.
It's a great honor, and sorry for my little switch around from yesterday. I apologize.
No worries.
It's okay. I bought a dress just for you, Eric, yesterday. I did.
Oh, I want to see that dress. I'll be back on. All right.
Okay.
Deal.
All right. Deal.
Will you let me know?
I will.
All right.
Thank
you,
is.
guys.
All right. Eric Trump, son of former President Donald Trump, who will be introducing his father as he accepts the GOP nomination here in Milwaukee during the 2024 Republican National Convention. Up next, we're going to go straight to Sherwin Hughes, who is on deck ready to give you more knowledge and expertise regarding the Republican National Convention. Again, Eric, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
This is, as you know, the best morning show on planet Earth. And as Steve Gaddafi said, the best show on planet Universe. We're not even doing planets. So thank y'all again so much. We're going to wrap up and get ready for tonight as we watch former President Donald Trump accept the nomination as the presidential candidate for the Republican Party. Thanks again. We will hear and see y'all tomorrow. Make it a great day. We love you. Tell somebody you love them. And keep tuned in to 9 more hours of live consecutive Black Talk Radio. We'll be back.
Peace out.
Truth Nation, our Beyond the Mic Happy Hour Mixer series has been a hit this summer. I want you to join me and my Truth teammates for our next installment of Beyond the Mic, Friday, July 26th, from 5 until 7 p.m. at the Mo Bay Cafe, located at 1022 South 1st Street in Milwaukee. There will be delicious cocktails, great conversation, Chula Vista Resort